What's up agents, and welcome back to another Division video where I'm going to show you a build to absolutely destroy the Warlords of New York Dust Storm event. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Let's get straight into it. You can see the footage now in the background, and I am really happy because it lets me use my favorite gun, the Pestilence, which comes in really handy when that heavy storm kicks in, because you can't always see the bad guys, and the Pestilence ticks do some real damage. And as you've probably seen in the clip already, it actually just kills them even without any bullets as well. It hits that hard. And best of all, this is with 0 prototype gear, so if you're lucky enough to have any of this prototyped, you're going to do this even better because it's the open world. We can use prototype gear here. We are going to be using the seasonal modifiers. They are going to give us quite a decent boost, although there is a global event on right now. I didn't want to use it. That only lasts for a week. We are going to take advantage of the global modifiers because that's going to be on for the rest of this event. Personally, I would use Assault with this. It will be even better. So if you are watching this video why Assault is on until this coming Tuesday, it will actually help you out even more. Okay, so that's enough talking. Let's get into the stats and the actual build itself. And I'll even include my build calculator and link at the end so you can check it out in much more detail if that's the kind of thing that you're into. Alright, so nothing particularly new here, and you've got plenty of scope for making any changes that you might want to as well. So obviously, first up, we are using the Pestilence. I've got crit chance loaded on mine because crit chance works in any case scenario. You don't have to worry about anything with armor, with health and things like that. So crit chance is always my go-to. It works with everything, and I can just put crit damage absolutely everywhere else. The stat broker, yes, I did lie to you a little bit about saying there's no prototype. I didn't use this in any of the clips that you saw, but if you want to do a bit of weapon swapping and get yourself that initial burst from back and forth, that's always an option as well. Of course, we're using the quick step because we're running around outside. Getting around just that little bit quicker always helps get that farming route done. So for this, you essentially want to use 3 Langmore. That's going to give you a lot of damage. But before we get into that, you've got a couple of other options for the other pieces as well. Really easy pieces to pick up are the Contractor's Gloves. You want damage to armor, and I've got critical hit damage on mine. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, but as always, the rule of thumb is always going to be get as close to 60% crit chance as you can. That's the cap, and then push everything else into critical hit damage. Then we're going to use Foxy's Prayers, and as you can see, mine are critical hit chance, but it gives us the juicy 8% damage to target out of cover buff. Then you've got a couple of options here, and it potentially can be a lot of different ways round. Mine is potentially the hardest way around to do it. So what you could necessarily do here, you could get yourself an imminent armament chest piece if you wanted to replace the chest and not necessarily get the Langmore piece, because if you remember, Langmore comes with the default core of blue. So to get the right talent and attributes in the place where you want them, it's actually particularly hard. So what you could actually do here is get a Walker Harris chest with glass cannon. You could get an imminent armaments chest with glass cannon, and that would be absolutely fine. And that way then you could just run the Langmore backpack, the Langmore mask, and a Langmore holster. So there's plenty of different ways you can do it. You don't have to try and do it exactly the same way as I have here. But the reason we pick up imminence, armaments, or Walker Harris, it gives us a 5% weapon damage bonus. And as much weapon damage as you can put into this build basically means that your Pestilence ticks will do more and more and more. And that's essentially as well why we're using the Contractor's Gloves, because it gives us 10% LMG damage here as well. So on the holster, I've got crit chance and crit damage. It just makes sense. On the mask, crit chance and crit damage with a crit damage mod. And here for the first time, you can see here, 3-piece Langmore gives us 30% LMG damage. I don't really feel like I need any survivability with this because things die that quick. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, it's just way easier running around in an all blue build. It still gets very, very hairy. These guys are no slouch, especially when you come across the bosses or if you're playing on heroic or anything like that. It can be a little bit nerve-wracking every now and again, especially when there's so many of them during the dust storm. And I just feel like killing them quicker, and sometimes if they're hiding in the dust storm, the pestilence does the job for me. It just makes it miles easier. I just thought, hang on, I can get this whole map cleared out way quicker by just running all red. I know it's not to everyone's taste, but that's just how it's been working for me. On the chest, glass cannon has been my choice here. Again, it amplifies our damage for the pestilence, but if you wanted to run obliterate here, you could do that as well, and it wouldn't quite be as risky because you've not got any of the incoming damage that you take from glass cannon. But stats, just imagine here, crit chance, crit damage with a crit damage mod. And then we're using the Langmore backpack. This is probably the hardest thing to get if you don't go the chest route. So for instance, if you're going to run a Walker Harris chest, that's pretty easy to get. An Imminence Armaments one, pretty easy to get. You can probably craft them fairly easy, just that you would have to put some work into optimization, or you could just go into countdown and that would work as well. But for the backbone, that's probably the hardest piece because it does come with the blue core attribute. So it does mean that you have to get the drop or craft with crit chance and crit damage. Not impossible, but probably the most grindy piece in this build. Then if we were to take a look at the stats, 55.5% crit chance, 129% critical hit damage. Load up on your special munitions for your global modifier if you're not using the assault event that's on right now. I just choose to use invincible. It gets me out of a sticky situation if it needs to. And then I'm running the Viper Bite, I'm running Sand and Stone, and I'm running Immune Response. Now you don't have to run these ones. For instance, you can kind of drop away from this, the Sand and Stone one, the Hasbro, and run Contagion instead, because at least then that gives you some extra damage, and they do rush you on this, and so you'll probably do a little bit better. I kind of wish I had it on for the demo at the beginning. I honestly thought that I did. I'm not sure how I've made that mistake. And just to show you in the range here now, as you can see, we get some very healthy damage tick numbers, anything from 1.2 million up to around 1.5 million, depending on the type of target that we are actually hitting.